to West Hollywood, where the women are strong and the men are pretty.
For this area of West Hollywood has become the mecca of the homosexual community. And one of the reasons gay men give for having come here is that they feel more comfortable.
Two African-American gay men took their last breaths in the West Hollywood home of a wealthy Democratic donor.
Ed Buck is well known in West Hollywood, battling City Hall for causes near and dear to his heart and spending big bucks on candidates who support his views.
Gemmel Moore and Timothy Dean both died of overdoses in Buck's West Hollywood apartment in the last couple years.
The LA County Sheriff's Department says they have found no suspicious circumstances of foul play.
We have a lot of victims who have came forward. Ed Buck needs to be stopped.
A loud call for DA Jackie Lacey to prosecute Buck for murder.
That's your cake. Put the damn candles out. What are you gonna do? You are not gonna pour a cup of water on that cake. What is going on?
Gemmel was a 26-year-old young son, brother, friend, trying to maneuver through life.
After Gemmel was gone, I didn't at all think that it was going to be swept under the rug like that. It was a surreal realization of how invaluable my life as a Black gay man was.
We are his extended family. My love for Gemmel will be endless, and we do want to make sure that this never happens again.
Oh, wait a minute. I gotta get you.
One thing about him, he would step up to the plate when needed. You can call and tell him what you need, A, B, C, D, E, and he'll follow to the note.
He was always looking out for people. Tim was a really special guy, and I really didn't get to see the 360 view of him until he passed.
Gemmel and Timothy had never crossed paths with each other. Coming together, we realized how many lives those two individuals touched. And had their life not been as precious as it was to so many people, we probably wouldn't be here. Gemmel and I met when we both were coming out to explore our gay side and interact with the gay community. We were both kind of standoffish, and that's kind of how us two were attracted to each other, because when we would be at events and we'd both be kind of holding the wall up.
He was always like very mischievous and quiet.
He liked to be in new places and be where nobody knew him and you know, be the boy that was mysterious. He didn't talk very much and, you know, and just kind of give a little bit here and a little bit there and maybe do a little bit something crazy and then just disappear. He loved doing that.
We were a part of the house and ballroom community, which is a sub-community within the LGBT community.
The ballroom is basically like a pageant. You have different categories, you pick members that are pretty much the best at each category, and they compete against each other.
It's like a fraternity, but gay. Being Black and coming to West Hollywood, when you're not accepted, they kind of look out for you.
Ballroom and house community started way back during Stonewall. Being gay was basically illegal. A lot of gays were ousted by their families and thrown to the streets. They came together in different groups, and it was actually a house.
What a gay family or a gay ballroom family would do is we would take you in so you wouldn't be on the street.
I was Gemmel's gay house mother. Usually we would drink and, as we say, kiki and carry and hang out. He carried a liking for my aesthetic, the fact that I was always polished and put together. He's one boy that I knew that honestly took about the same time to get ready as me. At one point, we kind of like all lived together. I had an apartment, I just never went home, you know? And I think that was just because we were kind of like all just in love with each other and loving the fact that our chosen family was just kind of like together and stuck together all the time. Gemmel was a homebody. He's actually really, really funny. Jules was his alter ego. Quiet. He talked with like a real deep voice.
Often within the house and ballroom community, individuals give themselves aliases or other names. I think personally it came from trying to keep your life separate, your gay life within the community separate from your actual life and your family.
Gemmel walked schoolboy, and he walked pretty boy too. Looked really, really young and didn't look like he was gay or anything, just looked like a normal person.
He was trying to keep his masculinity. That was a big thing for him.
Don't ever put my real name on no cake. I don't want nobody to know my shit.
He would be like, bro, don't call me Gemmel. Like, don't call me that. In the community, he was Jules. Nobody really knew Gemmel.
Gemmel's the oldest of his brothers and sisters, and they all looked up to him.
Gemmel took the role of being a big brother very serious, but not only being a big brother, being a support to his mom. And his mother's a single mother.
Gemmel was a jokester. He loved to cook. He was nurturing. He was loving. He was my Bookie. I called him Bookie. Gemmel came out to me at 17. He was 17 years old. He left home, and I didn't know what was going on. He called me, and he goes, Mom, I got something to tell you. I'm gay. And I said, I already knew. Okay, and what's next? We all have skeletons. I don't judge anyone.
She didn't really know his life here. He was very compartmentalized and very, very private. Even his closest friends, he kept his relationship separate.
Tim growing up, we had a lot of similar stories. The laughter, the music, the family. Tim's mother, they had a lot of kids. They didn't have the structure monetarily to be able to raise Tim. So they gave up Tim to some family friends that lived across the street. It was done out of love, but when you're a child, that's not the first thing you think of when you find out something like that. growing up black and gay and having to suppress that because he was a super athlete. I've talked with his family, and they've told me Tim always had greater ambitions for himself, and they knew that he wasn't gonna last there. Through high school, in his head, he always like, where could I go and just recreate myself? You can come out to LA and just be somebody like that.
Tim's birthday in March of 2016, a couple players were there, and I said, we need to go to Paris, and we need to play. I said, and he goes, I'm down, I'm down.
That was his name on the court.
Right here, Tim. Nobody's around you.
It was about basketball, but it became really quickly a lot more. I mean, we just had so much in common. He loved fashion, and he loved home decor. Tim would travel with candles, fabrics, and him and Walter were the foo-foo masters.
We make it look like our apartment. We bring books and stuff and flowers, and then everybody would always come to our room, and it was just a lot of fun.
Tim and Walter played on the LA Heat. They would put a boombox in the middle of the court. It looked like the movie Hoosiers or something.
They were a train wreck for a long time. They truly were.
I don't care what they said, we might have been that good, but we were LA, okay? So when LA come to town, LA gonna show out. And our team was very good looking too, by the way. So everybody wanted to be like us, you know what I mean, with our style, but they couldn't be LA, you know? Even though I thought, oh, I know everything. I didn't know everything. I knew what he wanted me to, what he felt comfortable sharing with me.
He needed to fill needs with different people, you know, and he kind of kept those people in different boxes. You know, he had Walter and I, he had his work friends, he had a hiking group.
Coming to Runyon, 5 times, 6 times a week to go hiking, we would come at 5:30 in the morning. I'd go pick him up, and it was about the sunrise and just talking about just this whole Cuisinart. You never knew what your conversation was going to be. Talking about boys, just talking about dating and relationships, just talking about school and goals. We both had struggled with certain chemicals and partying, and with Tim, it was just about how we would support each other in that.
You know, a lot of times, Tim would get depressed. He would see the outside world. People seem to have so much and it comes so easy. And he was always wondering, why is everything so difficult for me?
He was going to school and he worked. He lived paycheck to paycheck. He was on his own.
Gemmel always talked about like, oh, I'm getting back into school, I'm getting back into work. And that around that time, he was not doing good in life. He lost his job, life situations happened. And he did not want to really communicate that to anybody because he was very big on how people saw him.
He saw my life, and he knew I was an escort. He asked me about it, and I kind of shunned from it because I know the problems that came along with it. And so, to me, being a parent, you don't want your kids to go through what you went through, so you try to like push it away. But sometimes pushing it away will make them go straight for that, and that's exactly what he did.
I knew he was escorting. I ensured him to be safe and cautious and protect himself. Being a Black man in this day and age, you are already, at odds, so be smart about it. And I felt like he was being cautious for quite a while. I didn't know of Ed Buck personally. I didn't know that it was a client.
He told me about when he first started meeting with Ed Buck. Gemmel said he had hit him up numerous times online, but he never responded. But a friend brought him there. And it was like, oh, you want to come make like $600, you don't have to do nothing, you just have to hang out and, talk to this guy for an hour or so, and he was gonna pay you.
Let's start at the beginning. Who is Ed Buck?
Buck was a well-known activist. Originally from Arizona, he reportedly made around $1 million selling a courier company.
Ed Buck, a conservative Republican, started the Meekum recall campaign. Buck is also a homosexual.
I mean, there may be widespread disgust with homosexuality in Arizona, but the disgust for Evan Meekum is even stronger.
Blacks used to, first it was to be, they would call them colored, and then they wanted to be called Negroes, and now they want to be called blacks. And I call them whatever they want to be called.
Ed Buck championed for MLK's birthday because politically and socially, it looked good to be doing that. I believe that Ed Buck created a mirror person for the public and for the world to see.
When he came out as being gay, he got a lot of slack from his own Republican Party, and he switched parties and became a Democrat.
Buck moved to West Hollywood back in the early 90s.
He was a regular donor to a variety of political campaigns, advocated for LGBTQ issues, and once ran for West Hollywood City Council.
Ed Buck, volunteer coordinator for the California Healthy Pets Act and Animal Rescue.
Getting rid of fur in the city of West Hollywood was a big, coup for him.
West Hollywood, California is the nation's first fur-free city.
I've been a resident of West Hollywood for a long time, and I will tell you that I'm so proud of my city right now.
He's well known in West Hollywood. He was the vice president like the Stonewall Democratic Club.
I met him through Tim. They had known each other for quite a long time, at least 10 years. He worked on a couple of campaigns, putting on signs, calling. Ed Buck, where he knew powerful people. So Tim attached himself a little bit to that. That was something that's very attractive to him. I would see him out at the gym. But I always tell him, I said, I don't know, Tim. I said, I don't know something about him. Something, I don't know how to explain it. But he just rubbed me the wrong way that I just knew this was not somebody that I was never going to be friends with.
Gemmel, he didn't think that there was gonna be any foul play initially, you know? As time went on, Ed began to push the boundaries and ask more and more and more of him, and in turn, offer more and more and more money. Around that time when he first met Ed, that was when he first got introduced to shooting up meth. Can you put these underwear on and just model these underwear for me? And then it began to be even more degrading and more degrading. What he got off on sexually was testing the limits. I mean, literally, this is what he said as he would shoot them up. Your African blood can take it. You know, your nigger blood can take it.
To want to call us something that is the last term that a lot of our ancestors heard before they died for your sexual gratification, that lets me know your mental state right there. That also lets me know how vulnerable Gemmel was. Around that time, I was battling addiction that nobody else knew about. I had got severely depressed. My grandmother had died. I was around the wrong people. I started doing coke, which is very big in our community. And that's some of my biggest regrets, because I think that we both could have helped each other out. I feel that maybe if I would have been able to be candid and transparent with what I was going through, he would have felt comfortable enough or okay enough to tell me what he was going through.
It's really, really difficult to know that he was doing it, because he looked at me and was like, okay, well, you know, you're doing it, you're okay. And, you know, but everything affects people differently.
I've genuinely been noticing the rapid rate of crystal meth and how it's affecting our community, especially in West Hollywood on Santa Monica. And it's just so tragic to see the kids roaming in the daytime.
Crystal meth is really dangerous, and it's not just any drug. It's a drug that really attacks your nervous system and your physical and your mental state of being.
When I take meth, it helps me get into a sexual character, things I would probably never say or do or allow to happen. I can give a performance of my life.
At first, it's that Superman feeling and you feel invincible. But then your body becomes dependent on it. You need it just to get out of bed.
It amplified fear, paranoia, shame, regret. It is so strong that addiction of it. And even when I say it, like the movie It, like that clown would sit in the sewer and lure you in. Crystal meth destroys you. I believe that it is true when you are vulnerable. And especially a lot of us men, we don't like being vulnerable. People sniff you out. The only time that Tim and I actually had a conversation about Ed Buck, I'll never forget. He looked right at me And he said, don't you take your ass over there. And I said, I'm not going over there. And then, kind of snickered because he's like, shit, I ain't going over there. And Tim's phone, it was all these messages that he never responded to. He went like this, look, I'm not going over there. When somebody can go like this on their iPhone and it swipe and it rolls like the Price is Right wheel. He's like, look, I ain't trying to end up dead.
Gemmel and I, we started falling out.
He started getting skinny. He stopped coming around as much. And it was just kind of like, this is not Gemmel.
I didn't sugarcoat anything with him. I let his ass have it. It was like, bitch, you need to fucking get your shit together. Like, this is disgusting and it's ridiculous. And I will be a part of your life, if you want me to be here. But I can't be a part of what you're doing right now, to yourself. Like, I can't watch you go through this. I took his keys and I told him that he could not stay here. That's when he went to go stay with Ed Buck.
I can't. Sorry.
Gemmel stated, I pray that I just get my life together and make sense. I help so many people, but can't seem to help myself. I honestly don't know what to do. I become addicted to drugs, and the worst one at that. Ed Buck is the one to thank. He gave me my first injection of crystal sick meth. It was very painful, but after all the troubles, I became addicted to the pain and the fetish and fantasy. I feel like I'm reading my own story. This is what I was going through.
But slowly my brain, my mind, and actions change. I am not the same person I was born to be. I felt as if I sold my soul to the devil. Oh my God, man. I want to be back in God's hands.
I want to be healed from drugs, poverty, and troubles.
I just hope the end result isn't my death. Someone needs to save me soon. The only person in my corner is the person who turned me this way. I feel right now.
I honestly don't care to live this life anymore. I don't want to die. I feel like I've done way too much that this lifetime allows.
If it didn't hurt so bad, I'd kill myself.
But I'll let Ed Buck do it for now. I miss my grandma.
I was talking to his mom. She was like, where is he? Like, he's not talking to me, like, Sammy, like, what's going on, And I just straight up told her, he's fucking addicted to drugs. So she came down here. She just got to spend time with him. And he just got to spend time with her and be his mom's baby.
Life had beat him up. He went home to be with his mom. And his grandma's there, he loves her. And I'm like, oh, he's with his family. I just feel like he was in a better place.
One of the most shocking things I found out about meth is if you take a drug addict and every day this drug addict shot up underneath the train passing, they can be clean for years and years and years. Just the memory of a train passing, literally their body will release those endorphins and you will instantly feel that high Although Gemmel had been sober and clean for a while, he hadn't got any of the tools to understand like what this had done to his mind.
The weekend of July 27th, I woke up at like early in the morning. My partner was in the bed looking on his phone, and then he said, "Have you talked to anybody?" And I said, "No, why?" And he said, I think Gemmel's dead. And I'm like, "What? Get out of here." We started checking social media. I started reaching out to some of my friends. And right away, I thought about Gemmel's mom, because I knew how much he loved his mom, and I knew how much she loved him. So I hurried up and sent her a message, and then she responded that she loved me, and that's what was my confirmation that, yeah.
When he died, I didn't know that they were talking about Mike Jules. I thought they were talking about some guy named Gemmel who I didn't know who he was.
I didn't even know he was here. Yeah, I didn't even know he was here.
I knew it was true, and I just didn't know what happened. There was like 1,000 stories.
I didn't know about Ed Buck paying for the flight or Ed Buck being involved at all.
My name is Letitia Nixon. I'm Gemmel Moore's mom. I'm calling out the West Hollywood Sheriff's Department to please launch a thorough investigation into the supposed accidental death of my son. I'm wondering why wasn't Ed Buck held accountable for the California Drug Dealer Liability Act?
There was a 911 call that somebody was in distress. 911 arrived and that person was deceased. And 911 decided to just take that body out of a home and go on as business as usual.
The sheer quantity of drugs, I mean, everywhere, like a shrine.
Had one sheriff that night did their full job and picked up that backpack, opened that backpack, and just looked at the first page of his journal. You didn't have to look through it. You didn't even have to open it because it's already open to that page.
Nixon said she was flabbergasted when she saw the surveillance images Fox 11 obtained exclusively from Buck's apartment building the night her son was found dead. They allegedly show another young man trying to get up to Buck's apartment while deputies were still on scene before he shooed away.
So when they were taking Gemmel's body out of the house, the police was forcing the next victim to not come in. And to me, to me, the police should have questioned that.
Thank God for the apartment manager, because he put out the video showing the police standing there talking with Ed Buck for hours. He was never put in handcuffs. Nothing was done.
I'm calling on the leaders. I'm calling on anybody who would listen. You know, it seems like everyone's turning a blind eye because my son was a gay Black man.
This fight, I didn't think it was worth it. Because as a gay black man, I had already felt that nobody cared about what was going on.
A disturbing story out of California. Joining us from Skype is Los Angeles journalist Jasmine Koenig. Jasmine, are you concerned at how police are investigating what took place at this home of Ed Buck?
We're all concerned because, you know, as I've been telling people, only a white man could have a dead black body in his house and explain it away to the police, have them say, okay, nothing to see here, pack it up, let's take the body and move along.
Jasmine Koenig.
Jasmine Koenig. Jasmine Koenig.
Jasmine Koenig, journalist and activist.
Social and political commentator Jasmine Koenig.
From Los Angeles, Jasmine Koenig, a syndicated columnist and a lesbian.
Jasmine grew up as a black lesbian woman in a time when West Hollywood was just racist.
I'm African American, I'm also a lesbian, and quite frankly, the campaign against Proposition 8 was poorly run.
Black LGBT people had to create their own clubs in undesirable areas, in warehouses. That's how Black Pride came about, because we could not go party out there. And she grew up in the trenches of that, and she understood what it was to have to fight through those hurdles and fight through those barriers. And now she looks at our generation and she wants to make sure that we have somebody that's gonna teach us how to push through these barriers.
If the roles had been reversed and Ed Buck had died and Gemmel had lived, Gemmel would have been in jail.
She was able to get a point across, you know, and I think that's where she was very instrumental because, I mean, she went out there and she did the interviews and she kept the word out there about this injustice.
You have to get in these elected officials' faces and you have to make them uncomfortable in their spaces, okay?
If they don't care, make them care. That's has been her attitude from day one. And after that, we said that we wasn't gonna let this go away. So Jasmine started telling the story, and I started doing the street work.
How do you move on without your son?
I started organizing, I started getting folks together, I started making noise in rooms that they didn't want noise to be made in.
No black boys feeling. We're at.
We was harassing Ed Buck.
That's Ed Buck right there. Gee, excuse me, you're his neighbor? You know this man is a sexual deviant. Ed Buck, you are a sexual predator. Gemmel, more life matters.
Anything to make people listen. And people started listening.
When deputies got there, it appeared that he had died of an overdose. Coroner's office additionally stated that it was deemed as an overdose. So in an abundance of caution, Homicide Bureau is doing a further investigation on it. As far as suspects, as far as who was involved, that part I don't know.
So the only thing that's changed is the attention that this case is getting to warrant this further investigation?
Yes.
When Gemmel died, Timothy explained a lot up here on the hill when we would hike about his involvement through the years. The temptation of all the money that he would offer just to go and get high with them. He was trying to distance himself from those situations.
We had many conversations about it. He felt like he could handle himself and whatever crazy situation went down. But the young man, he felt was taken advantage of. He said, Walter, Ed Buck is the devil.
He thought he was the devil.
A monster. He's going to hell, Walter. But to the police, nah, that's not something. He was never going to do that. We scared of the police. They might think we're coming in for the wrong damn reason, okay? We're not going to the police.
When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now!
We would love to see an investigation, and once that investigation is concluded, we would love to see justice brought.
Ed Buck was in a lot of trouble. He was being brought to the city council at West Hollywood, and his behavior was being questioned, and so Ed was calling Tim to vouch for him. And I'm like, girl, you can't. You can't. This is wrong, what he's asking you.
Ed Buck is
a harmful threat to our community, to black men, and he needs to be brought to justice. There's nothing stopping you with those allegations for asking for a federal investigation. If Jackie Lacey doesn't want to deal with it and talk about it, go to a federal prosecutor. They right there, Hall of Justice. You ain't got to take a far trip. I'll pay your gas money. Thank you.
We have a lot of victims who have came forward. We have more information, but we need immunity for these people because some of the charges by them testifying, they can be felonies. I'm asking for justice for my son, regardless to the fact of whatever he did or, you know, the meth or whatever. He still was my son. He still was a person. You know, that's all I'm asking for.
Thank you very much, and thank you for coming tonight.
I'm sorry. I wasn't gonna speak on this tonight, but I have to now add something. Being a criminal defense lawyer, before anybody speaks to the Sheriff's Department, you need to be aware that the Sheriff's Department does not grant immunity. The West Hollywood City Council does not grant immunity. The only agency that grants immunity to a witness is the District Attorney's Office.
The former mayor, John Duran, was Ed Buck's personal lawyer, and he used the city council chambers, the seat that we pay for, to basically threaten witnesses, to tell them, be careful, don't go telling the police nothing, because you can go to jail.
Our Homicide Bureau is investigating this case thoroughly, but however, they can't move forward without witnesses coming forward and giving them information.
Before you do anything, transparency doesn't always work with the criminal justice system. Transparency can subject you to criminal arrest and prosecution.
Ed Buck's attorney tells NBC4 tonight the public has got to stop buying into this and demand evidence. If you've got something, bring it forward.
I've been to these, drug houses, flop houses, trap houses, looking for victims of Ed Buck, and so many of them are out there. You have no idea how many boys are scared of this man. When Jasmine first spoke with me, I told her that I could get the full story and I can find other people. I know that he's done this to other people.
to build a case that the DA's office can move forward on. So we're in this holding pattern.
Ed Buck was weird as hell, to tell you the truth. First of all, he'd be so high and stoned out that he was just throwing money. He was throwing money left and right. It was like, here, get this or do this. And it was easy money at the time. It was like, okay, I need pocket money or to rent a car or whatever I need to do at the time. And it was just me running errand for him, like, go get this or pick up something. And that was that, you know?
When I first met him, I didn't get high. I wasn't dibbling and dabbling in that drug at that time. But then the second time I came back, that's when the first time I got high off of that. The day I went there, it was like a couple of days after my birthday. I was broke, completely broke, sad, and depressed. So he hit me up like randomly, and it was like right on time. So I said I would come over, and he was like, yeah, are you gonna get high this time? And I said, yeah, of course I'm getting high this time. Like, it's whatever you want. Like, I'll do whatever you need me to do right now because I need this money. I went there on a mission, so I knew what I was doing before I got into it. I thought I did.
First time walking to the apartment, I thought I was walking into a maze. Long, dark hallway, neon lights.
As soon as you close the door, right behind the door, it's like flames on the side, popping out like at you. It's like 3D or something.
There's a big TV, probably about 10 foot in height mirrors shadowing over you. And they're like all over the wall.
There were 3 or 4 crates that he had with like different types of jock straps, underwear, thongs.
Piles and piles of underwear. I mean, like 200, 300 pairs of underwear. And it was also a fog machine.
There was a red toolbox that he kept his drug paraphernalia in. He had Viagra, Cialis, needles, meth, coke.
Whips, dildo, it had like all kind of weird shit in it. And he kept it in a closet, and the closet you didn't know was there. It was hidden behind a curtain. The curtain that would look like flames. I guess he kind of wanted to remind you of hell.
He looks like the devil. Like, he starts to look like evil once you look at him for so long. He asked, did I want to do some meth now? And I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. He blew it into my mouth. He just kept on blowing and blowing and blowing. He wanted me to get higher and higher. I was high, and I wasn't trying to let it get to me, but it was kind of getting to me. He asked me, did I want a shot, like in my penis, to get my dick, for my dick to stay hard, because I did so much cocaine, and the meth is like, I guess it's not interacting right or reacting right, I mean, so he shot me. He wanted me to come in the room, and I wasn't trying to come in the room to do my drugs. He was mad at me because I wasn't trying to do what he wanted me to do, I guess. He kicked me out, I left. And I come back home the next morning, I wake up, my dick's hard as rock. Had to get surgery. They had to scrape the blood because it was dry. Oh, worst feeling in my life. Worst pain in my life. After me going to the hospital, I haven't seen him ever again. There are many Ed Bucks. There are many. It's just that his name happened to be attached to being a Democratic donor.
Political donor, high-profile political donor.
A prominent political donor.
Well-known political activist. Ed Buck, excuse me, a high-profile Democratic donor.
It was always about this thing about Ed Buck, the big Democratic donor. You know, that queen lived in a rent-controlled apartment in West Hollywood. How rich can she be?
He is supposedly a millionaire who donates thousands of dollars to the Democratic Party and certain candidates, and yet he lives in a very modest apartment unit right here in West Hollywood. No fancy car, no exotic vacations, just a A-list of political contacts, if you will.
We did a deep dive into those records, found out a lot of information. Buck has definitely spread the wealth.
He has given more than $500,000 to various candidates, notable Democrats like Congressmember Ted Lieu.
The maximum contribution that a donor gives in West Hollywood is $500 an election. I mean, seriously, for $500, this is not something that I'm going to get involved in for a $500 contribution once every 4 years. That's the facts.
John Duran received $12,500 from Buck in various campaigns. Without offering specifics, Duran said most of the money was spent and some was donated to charity.
To me, that's all bullshit anyway. It's like, oh, I gave the money back. What's your opinion about it?
In full disclosure, I have not received contributions from that individual, but I want to state clearly that it shouldn't matter who the subject of an investigation is. An investigation must be conducted thoroughly and without prejudice.
Having a statement to say about it, the actual thing that you're giving the money back for, taking a stand on that and what you think should happen.
For $2,000, really?
Not for $1,000, no. I think the system protected Ed Buck. It gives him more chances than other people.
We did not ask for $1 million. We didn't ask for them to go flip West Hollywood upside down. We asked for an investigation.
District Attorney Jackie Lacey is offering immunity to potential victims of Democratic megadonor Ed Buck.
We're very grateful that these young men have started coming forward. And so right now in Los Angeles, they're currently in the middle of this homicide investigation, and we're going to see what comes out of it.
The DA just ruled no charges will be filed. CBS 2's Tom Wade is live in West Hollywood tonight with more of the story. Tom?
And Jeff, the family of this young man says he did not get a fair shake because he was both black and gay. But the DA's office and the sheriff's department say there was a thorough investigation.
For her to do that, it was like a slap in the face.
A few people came forward and said, hey, this happened to me back in 2013. And when you get a witness like that, that's helpful if you can corroborate their credibility.
You took 1 or 2 statements out of the 30. And the ones that they took a statement from, these were people that were also had more extensive criminal records.
I'm gonna be the first to tell you, I'm never gonna get tired. You're gonna get tired of fighting me until Ed Buck is brought to justice. I'm gonna show up at every campaign. I'm gonna show up at every rally. I'm gonna show up at every sheriff department. I'm gonna make sure that everything you do is tampered with, just like this investigation was tampered with. Because I am Gemmel. So while you're waiting, I'm waiting until it's time for you to be reelected.
We won't stop till he's in prison. We won't stop till he's in prison. We won't stop till he's in prison. So please arrest him. We wish Ed Buck was in prison. We wish Ed Buck was in prison. We wish Ed Buck was in prison. For 25 tonight. Yeah.
For 5 years, 2 weeks before Christmas, we would go get his Christmas tree. We would go to the lot. He knew exactly which tree because he had already chosen it. It had to be perfect. And then off to go get Thai food.
We had just went to Alex's on Christmas. We had a great time. And then, as is customary with both of us, we start planning for the new year. Do you have any aspirations? What's gonna be different?
I believe that even with Timothy surrounded by all these people that loved him so much, that I think truly what he wanted was to be in a relationship.
He always wanted a boyfriend, but as soon as he got one, they would drive him crazy. And he's like,
I go, why did y'all break up so fast? What happened? But finally, he started getting a little bit more, you know, like, I got this now. Don't worry about what I don't got. Work with what I do have. And what he had was himself.
Let's give a round of cheer for our graduates.
he finally graduated, which he was so proud of.
When he finally sent me the thing, girl, I'm graduating. You got to come to my graduation, you know. Of course I'm going to be there.
Timothy Dean, liberal arts, social and behavioral science.
We were way in the stands, and you could just see the joy.
He got baptized. That empowered him.
He was like, girl, I'm going to get baptized. I was like, right on. Why not? You know, right on. Okay.
He got a break, and he got hired at Bloomingdale's. He excelled right away. Someone from Saks Fifth Avenue came after him and basically kind of poached him. He was really excited because he was back in Beverly Hills. For him, he was putting all the pieces together.
He had been at the sports bar all day drinking beers. We were watching the Golden Globes.
Welcome to the 2019 Golden Globe Awards.
He had strong opinions about fashion, and, oh, girl, what are you wearing? And, oh, no, she didn't. Then it was just planning, okay, I'll see you, I'll pick you up, and we'll go to the Runyon in the morning.
That same night, he sent me songs and stuff like, oh, I'm jamming with my Apple Music, boom. Occasionally, he would like to go down to the bar to play pool. They're over here on Santa Monica. Ed Buck lives on the way.
If you spend the whole day drinking, your defenses are down. Starting with the morning, getting up, driving over to the house, him not responding when I said, I'm here, the lights on, the windows open, and I'm thinking, oh, maybe he just went to go have a little rendezvous with someone, you know? But by the time I got back home, the news was coming in.
For the second time in less than 2 years, a black man was found dead at the home of Ed Buck.
According to the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Office, deputies respond to the apartment just after 1 a.m. Paramedics conducted CPR on the victim, but he died at the scene. His name was not released. Buck was home at the time.
There was the body that they brought out the door. And so I took a screenshot of it because I was sending it to Tim.
I'm texting him and sending him the articles and going, it's happened again, it's happened again.
Hey, you working today? Give me a call. The next day, I called again in the morning. I was like, no, I'm not working. What the hell? Now, he would have called me about that. And then Alex called me. He asked me if I had heard from a detective. I go, for what? In connection to Ed Buck. I had recorded the CNN episode. I pushed back and rewind on it. And I looked at the body bag. And I just said, that's it. That's him. It made sense to me then. That's him.
West Hollywood resident Timothy Dean. According to WeHoville, he was the man found dead early Monday morning at the apartment of Democratic donor Ed Buck.
That was his body. At the place he told me that he's not gonna go. Tim had never not been a man of his word to me.
As close as we were, it boggles my mind why he wouldn't talk to me about it. Like we talked, I mean, he spent Christmas with my family.
Alex was in town. We met at Walter's house, A, to be together, and B, how are we going to address this in the media? Because it's going to be a media storm.
Even in the press, the small press, them vilifying again, first with Gemmel, the first boy, and then Tim.
This is not a situation where Mr. Buck has caused the death. This is a situation where Mr. Buck has had longtime friends who unfortunately do not handle their life well.
There's an epidemic in media when it comes to Black men. There becomes irresponsible journalism to give the public a reason of why this person didn't deserve to live, and what they did, they deserved the result.
I didn't know Tim's porn name. Did I know he did porn? Yeah, I knew he did porn.
Walter and I knew what he did when we found out that he was working in the sex industry. He wanted to keep that separate to us.
Rent is expensive. You fall off for a month or two, and your ass be downtown on the street, okay?
The escorting, the porn, all that sex work, that isn't about him being a bad person or a dark person. It's survival.
His adopted mother, she was in a nursing home, and he had to pay for the nursing home.
His family, after I explained it to them, they were really good about it. They was like, the only thing that matters is taking care of our brother.
Earlier, confirmation to NBC4 from his sister in Tampa, waiting for her brother to visit next month.
He loved to come home and eat. He just loved his family, and he really loved his friends.
Tim was loved by his family, his friends, everybody that he came into contact with.
Mark Chambers says Timothy Dean, his friend of almost 30 years, was educated, athletic, and had an eye for fashion.
Tim had his own apartment, he had his own job, he was gainfully employed. He didn't need pennies from this man to be who he was. And that was the narrative I was trying to make sure people saw and heard. Tim's gone. That's a fact. How it happened is to be known. But I just want everybody to know he was a whole person.
After Tim passed, the voice became louder to get justice for Gemmel.
Arriving on that street was a lot. It was a lot. It had never really been that chaotic. I think from the time I got from the corner to Ed Buck's house, I had got stopped at least 10 times by reporters.
Black boys are dying here. This man is a problem, not to our black community, but to every community.
It clicked on the sense of reality to what Gemmel's family was dealing with and what now this new family was about to deal with, and who is this new family.
We should not even be here. There shouldn't even be a second victim. My son did not OD, he was murdered.
I met Gemmel's mom. I met the main people from Gemmel's group. There's a tie that binds us together. It's like that pain is Everybody can relate to that.
Ed Buck used to stay in his house when he's killed 2 people and probably will kill more people in the future.
If you can repeat after me and say Gemmel names more. Gemmel more! Gemmel more! Gemmel more!
I always thought Gemmel was destined for greatness, and I always knew Gemmel would be known worldwide. But then it broke my heart because I know that he would be so mad at us right now. He would not want all his business all over the world like this.
This man is a danger to our community.
Yes, he is.
We are not even talking about the half of what he's doing.
I felt like I betrayed my friend because now his business is really out there. And then I realized, like, this is what we've been fighting for. And now we're gonna get where we need to get. And I just came at peace with that.
We're gonna be out here every night. Every night.
You should not want him living here.
Every night. There is not going to be any more peace in West Hollywood until Ed Buck is arrested.
For nearly a month, Jerome Kitchen and others in the LGBTQ and Black community have waited for answers.
Jerome had his role. I mean, he's loud voice, and he knows how to make his voice be heard.
The mayor is in the pocket of the perp. We're going to turn a blind eye to it. Or because the mayor is a perp himself. John Duran, an alleged sexual assaultee, failed his city with the Ed Buck situation, and now there's 2 deaths. Your first order of business after your election should be to get John Duran out that goddamn seat.
Okay. From the Big Perb, thank you very much.
He was willing to put himself in harm's way, and he was spit on, and called a monkey. Him and Jasmine went in, they brought it to the forefront.
Arrest Ed Buck!
Activists delivered 30,000 signatures to Lacey's office to call for Buck's prosecution.
Nobody's coming inside of the building.
Lacey refused to meet with this group, refused to even let them into the building as they tried to present her with boxes of petitions.
I have to live with this for the rest of my life.
Everybody got a staff to carry. Jasmine has carried it.
Now we have the whole country's attention, but we're going to have a 3rd one and a 4th one if we don't stop this man.
Seeing people who didn't even know Tim or Gemmel, who take the time to do that and to go out there meant so much. I could never repay them for that.
Lacey tells me she hears their frustration, but it all comes down to this.
We can't file a criminal case based on who has the loudest voice. If we go out there and arrest him now, the clock starts ticking, and it wouldn't be ethical right now to arrest him until we really had the evidence.
Well, we now know what killed a man inside Ed Buck's apartment.
Officials say Timothy Dean died from a methamphetamine overdose, and it was ruled accidental.
It shocked me that he had an injection, because I know for a fact that Tim didn't even like to draw blood, so.
The doctors, the vampires, he would call them, he had an aversion to needles, completely freaked out about it. This is Timothy. He's just like, okay, do it. He couldn't look at it because he would get sick or faint.
I don't know. A person can determine whether or not someone injected them. I don't know. The reason why I believe people know this case is because there are multiple stories of young men saying he had to inject you because that's how he got off. The sexual fetish of it. It was very specific.
According to the report, Buck says Dean was acting bizarrely, using clothing to tie a noose around his own neck. Buck says he removed the noose prior to leaving the room to take a shower. He found Dean unresponsive when he got out and attempted CPR for 15 minutes before calling 911.
It's like I didn't want to read it. After that, I was like, I didn't need to know how awful it was. It's awful.
David, what's new in the investigation? What have we learned tonight?
Well, Jeff, the case against Ed Buck is now in the hands of the LA County District Attorney's Office. Buck hasn't been charged with any crimes, and he hasn't been asked the tough questions until now. While Buck stays mostly in his apartment, on this day, our surveillance cameras caught him with this black man, probably in his 20s, who was eating an ice cream. They went inside for about an hour, then left to go to the Beverly Center, where we tried to talk with him. Mr. Buck, I'm David Goldstein with CBS 2 News, sir. Sir, what's going on in your apartment, sir? Can you tell us that? Do you think your political influence is keeping you a free man now, sir? Is this young man who's with you now, is he in any harm?
I don't feel like he had any fear of being stopped, because he never stopped.
Can you answer the question, sir? Is it a coincidence that 2 men have died in your apartment? Why are you walking backwards, sir?
Should be ashamed of you.
Why should I be ashamed of myself, sir? I'm not touching you at all.
Ed Buck didn't give a shit. He didn't care about Tim. He didn't care about Gemmel. He didn't have any remorse. He didn't give a shit.
The man he was with stood off to the side, not wanting to be on TV. You know who he is, right? That's all, okay. That's all I want to know. Why don't you answer any questions? You have 2 people who died in your house.
Because you're being an...
Sir, I'm asking questions.
Today, family and friends of Gemmel Moore gathered in front of Buck's apartment to mark the 2-year anniversary of Moore's death.
Me, Jasmine, the lawyers, with some of Gemmel's friends, we all prayed, and I led the prayer. And 3 things that I finished with is that we were going to get justice through Ed Buck's pockets. We were going to get justice through our criminal justice system. He was going to be arrested. And that we were going to get justice through our elected officials, because people are going to be held accountable. And I said that I call it done, and it's going to start happening right away.
There was a sting going on by federal agents in West Hollywood, a federal drug sting. One of the officers on that federal team heard about Ed Buck's situation and that 2 people had died. Another one had escaped with no arrest.
I know John Doe number 3. He overdosed twice, not once, twice. He overdosed, the hospital discharged him, he went back to Ed Buck's house, Ed Buck overdosed him again. Just think about that's how bad of a situation he was in.
It went to the sheriff's department, say, hey man, this is going on. They blew it off. The federal agent made it a point that they went back after that 3rd guy went into the house. Now there's still drugs here. Those are yours.
Breaking news on CBS 2 News at 11. Perp walked out of his apartment. Former Democratic donor Ed Buck is in handcuffs.
Ed Buck arrested after a 3rd man was allegedly overdosed at his West Hollywood home.
I saw on the news of him sitting in the back of a police car. That was a victory for me. Till that point, he had never been questioned. It's like they fucking brought him flowers and cookies and candy every time he killed someone.
Tonight, those who stood up for the victims say they feel vindicated.
And I'm just so ecstatic that finally there is the beginning of justice in this case. So, he's just been arrested. He's got to go through the process, but this was a long time coming.
I kind of gave up on the criminal justice side of it. So when I heard that it was happening, I almost passed out.
I am happy. I knew that this day was going to come. I'm just so grateful that my team did not give up.
We have reached out to Buck's attorney. So far, no word from them tonight. We can tell you that Buck is due in court tomorrow. His bail set
at $4 million.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nick Hanna. I'm the United States Attorney here in Los Angeles. Today, I'm announcing a federal case against Mr. Buck. Charges that carry a mandatory minimum sentence of 20 years in federal prison and a maximum of life in prison without parole. Mr. Buck is now in federal custody, and he is making his first appearance in federal court this afternoon.
That day, just being in that courtroom, it felt like we had came full circle.
Mr. Buck, do you understand?
65-year-old Ed Buck stood before the courtroom in what's called an anti-suicide smog.
Ed Buck walked in there, and right away, I started feeling hot, emotional. I felt sorry for him, too. He looked fragile. He looked scared. He looked unsure, and I felt bad for him. But right as I felt bad for him, I wondered how many young people or people felt like that in his house. We weren't there for Gemmel. We weren't there for Timothy. We were there for John Doe, victim number 3. And we just wanted victim number 3 to know, like, you have a community, you have a support system.
I'm glad, for the first time in a while that I've seen that justice is being served properly.
I hope that he's getting the care that he needs. I hope that he's getting the therapy that he needs.
Activist Jasmine Canick and others are assisting Mr. Doe. They've gotten him a room and gotten him off the street and say they're helping him so he can testify against Buck.
DA Lacey charged Ed Buck for the victim number 3, but she didn't help victim number 3 with no housing, no substance abuse, or nothing. No, they let him get out there on the streets in hopes that he can come back and testify for a trial.
Thank you, everyone, for coming, and good afternoon. With regard to what the evidence is for the U.S. Attorney, that may have been different from what we had. We did not have other victims who were willing to talk to the prosecutors and tell us what happened or tell us that they were injected by Mr. Buck.
You weren't going to do anything. You see, they were going to snatch it from him. Make it a federal case, which would have tainted Lacey and on her career, and tainted the sheriff's department.
The sheriff's department, they saw that Mr. Moore was dead, but they investigated it sort of like an overdose. And they found some things, but we contend that it's illegal how they searched for it. They needed a warrant in order to get that stuff. So that was the first thing. Evidence found at the scene of drug use in state court could never come in.
It took District Attorney Jackie Lacey feeling like the sheriff department kept throwing her under the bus with the case to say, no, actually, we didn't arrest Ed Buck because the sheriff took a chest out of his house without a warrant and the case got thrown out of court. But just imagine if she would have had that compassion to tell Gemmel's mom that on day 1. Maybe it would have made a little sense.
Good evening, everyone. City Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Councilmember Duran is absent this evening.
John Duran, apparently he did not want to be here to see Gemmel's mother. He was too cowardly to show up tonight.
This is not an easy journey. I'm a very private person. It's not easy at all, but we came forward to save others.
Jasmine Canick deserves a lot of the recognition for her tireless commitment to shedding light on these tragedies, and to Jerome Kitchens, who has challenged us to keep our eyes on the ball. And our eyes never left the ball.
A lot of elected officials feel the heat up under them. John Durant's on the ballot. Jackie Lacey's on the ballot. Kevin DeLeon's on the ballot. So people realize that, 1, we were about serious business, and 2, now my community and other Black and brown lives realize that we gonna fight for you.
The 2 years spent investigating Ed Buck was time well spent, and I'll hope you agree.
It took me a long time to clean up his room. And in doing so, I found a letter that he wrote me. And it reads, "I don't know where to start, but I'm so emotional. Leaving you, I have not seen my family in 4 years. You have been my family this whole time. I really and honestly don't want to leave. I'm scared. I honestly am truly sorry for everything I hurt you with. Can we forget the past? I don't know everything. I'm human, and I'm trying hard to be honest. You give me a reason to want to be here. I don't know what to do with my life. It's horrible, and well, I appreciate everything you've done for me. And if I never see you again, just remember, your nephew loves you. Please don't talk shit about my grammar skills and punctual skills, LOL." And I never saw him again. Never did.
My process with the grief with Tim, it's like that's my resistance to coming back up here because I was so overwhelmed with feelings. I missed my friend.
You know, we all got to go at some point. He took his trip a little bit earlier than all of us, you know, and we mourn his death. I choose to look at it, you know, the things that happened in my life, and that's just another angel that I got to call on when I can't handle shit on earth. And I need extra little help.
I had emergency heart surgery, pretty much. You guys can hear this ticking. Right? So that's cost of smoking or doing drugs. It caused me to have a mechanical heart valve, which is what's keeping me alive today. You never know what kind of horror film you're in until you're in it, because drugs will take you under and take you to some dark places that it's hard to get out of. And I'm still have a hard time dealing with it.
I'm managing. My penis is fine, but I'm managing. It's depressing. Like, it's a whole lot of, it causes trauma.
This crystal meth epidemic, when it comes to my people, we need more counselors that look like us. That's why it was important for me to, to get licensed and certified, in, strategic life coaching and spiritual development, those things. That's why it was important, because it's healing, and it's not allowing an opportunity for it to come back into my life.
Whether it's a gay man or a trans woman or a woman that's a sex worker, it's really men in power who are allowed to do these type of things and get away with it. There are so many men out there like that are not behind bars.
Clients specifically go out looking for Black young kids who they can put a spell on. I have another Ed Buck, number 2, I call him. Actually, I call him Ed Buck's twin, who still texts me, send me pictures of money, who's trying to lure me in any way he can. And it's like, what do? I have 2 choices to make. Do I want to be healthy, or do I want to pay my rent?
Gemmel Moore. Gemmel Moore. Ashe. Timothy Dean. Timothy Dean. Ashe.
Our criminal justice system, it's there. It is there, and the resources are there, the help is there, it's all there. They just need to be enforced.
We are live at the federal courthouse in the federal trial against Ed Buck. He has now been found guilty of all 9 federal charges.
I thank Jasmine for keeping her foot on the pedal and making that noise. But Tim it was so close. I have to protect myself. I had to disassociate myself with it. We all have the battles we wage and we fight, and mine is for LGBT basketball.
Friends and family of the victim cheering, crying, hugging, celebrating within minutes of the verdict.
My son is more than a movie or documentary. This is my baby, my son, who is a human being, and he's loved by lots of people. But today is bittersweet. Today is the day that my son was murdered when he left my house 4 years ago. But we got victory today. We got victory in the West today.
This has been an undesirable fight, but it's totally been worth it. And I often tell people that we are fighting this fight because it's worth it and because it's important, not for our own self, because if that's the case, we wouldn't do it. I call Gemmel a prophet now, and a prophet is somebody that comes to earth to awaken us to certain things.
I don't know what justice means for me. I really don't, because what I want, I can't have.